Alright, the demo is stage 1, so it's stuff I've seen before. That's great. I'm always worried about the demo spoiling things for me. So this is a game, this is one of those ongoing first playthroughs that I have. I haven't never completed this game to credits. I've just been playing it for a couple weeks. About 1, maybe 2 nights a week, so it's not gotten a whole lot of practice. It's a game, I really like a lot of things about it. It's almost great, but it does have some things that kind of drive me crazy that are very not good about it, but my opinion is still very malleable. Until I spend enough time with it and beat it and experience everything in it, you know, all of my thoughts are really subject to change. There are 4 playable characters. We're only going through as 1 right now. I do want to see all 4 characters, but my plan for the game is to stick very narrowly to 1 set of options my first playthrough, and then start to explore the alternate options on subsequent playthroughs, so more of the game stays fresh for longer. So we started off as this Wolfman character, so that's who we're gonna stick with. And there are places where the game seems to have branching paths, and we're always making the same choices anytime those come along. So, but I will want to play through it again and again and make other decisions, but I think the best way to do it is to experience each path kind of in isolation. And if I jump around a whole lot, it's going to be more difficult to learn the game, and it's going to be less exciting later on because I won't have as much new stuff to see. As with all the first playthroughs, I am doing it blind with no research or outside information. So please be pretty careful not to accidentally spoil anything for me, or to give me any sort of help or clue me into any information I haven't learned about the game firsthand yet, if you would please. So we can capture the raw, natural experience of overcoming this brutality on your own. Off to a bad start. I'm about to lose my last life. Great thing about this game is all the weapons, I think all the weapons are turbo fire by default. It's not cheating to use turbo, it's actually your only option. I actually don't really prefer that. I like when your default attack is a button mash attack and not a default turbo. But you know, I'm a madman, so of course my preferences don't make any sense. Feels silly to call it turbo if it's all standard turbo, yeah. But like, this is turbo, is the punch is turbo, yeah, they're all turbo. One thing I did kind of find out by accident is that the different characters have different weapon options. And So I'm looking forward to completing the first playthrough so that I can stop playing as the wolf. On the one hand, because I don't like half of the wolf's arsenal, and I would be very interested to see if there's another character whose weapon options suit me better. Oops. I'm blundering because of my lack of familiarity with the controls. Whoa, what's he doing? He never does it like that. That's what I was waiting for. Hey, there we go. Tomorrow night, by the way, we're going to be playing Ao the Clown and Dark Souls. Ao we've been making good progress in. And so I'm excited, again, to pick that one back up. Hoping we'll have another good night of finding collectibles and clearing stages. And Dark Souls, I have finally moved into the next new area of the game. I gave up on the backtracking and exploration. I think I've decided I've found everything I'm gonna find. So I proceeded forward and I found another boss. So Dark Souls is gonna be all about taking on this this next boss. It might be the last boss of the game. From what little I understand of the story, it very well could be. So we may actually be finishing Dark Souls soonish. I don't really want to say that it might happen tomorrow, because it probably won't, but maybe within the next week or so. Did you finish the Minish Cap yet? We beat the Minish Cap. I didn't 100% the Minish Cap. But we did beat it. I wasn't really sure if we wanted to go back and 100% it or not. I'd kind of thought while we were playing it that we might end up doing it, but then as we started getting further along toward the end, I was like, well, let's just go ahead and see the credits and we can pick up the extra stuff if we want. And I don't know, I kind of think we probably won't. If there's if there's like a whole bunch of people that want to go spend another night trying to finish 100%ing it, then I'd be open to the idea, but the end of an era. The end of Dark Souls will be the end of an era. I've only been playing it since September. It's got to be the longest running thing on the stream, like, by far, which is crazy to think about, because like think of how much time we've put into things like Contra and Super C, and Dark Souls is... It's just one playthrough of Dark Souls is long, like I put all that time into Contra, but I was practicing challenges, and I beat Contra like 4,000 times on the, like, journey to pulling off those challenges. And, like, Dark Souls is taking this long, and it's just one playthrough. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to me, since I only play, since I'm always playing all these old games that don't last so many months, typically. Unless they're Echo the Dolphin or Battletoads. I liked the ending of the Minish Cap, though. I will say that. I think I kind of cried about it at the time, but thinking about the final boss for the Minish Cap, I feel like I really like the way it ended. 100%ing that game can be more frustrating than it's worth, in my opinion, with the fusions and finding all the kinstone pieces needed for them. Then there's the figurines and getting enough shells. For anyone who may not know, normally I do read the text out from games, but because this is one we've been working on for a while, I've read all the text up to a certain point, and until we get there, I'm just gonna kind of click through it. Awesome. Really happy I did that boss pretty well. I haven't played in a couple of nights, so it's nice that I sort of remembered how to do that. No, why are you firing up there? I was expecting it to target me. Yeah, the grind for the figurines and to get the seashells for the figurines, I expect to be pretty rough. The kinstone pieces, while also tedious, I don't think it would be the end of the world. It also kind of bugs me, though, that there's one heart piece in the game that I know where it is, and I don't know how to get it. BRB. We'll see you when you return, Greg. This boss is so cool. Even though it killed me, it's still so cool. I love this arena. I love the constellations. Boy, it's ruining me. It's a super cool boss design. Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't make any sense, but I don't care. I love it. This is the most bizarre Contra game. I mean, it's not like the Contra series, like, it's not like the other Contra games leading up to this were, like, realistic or anything. I mean, they're a wacky universe full of, like, aliens and skeletons, but... I don't know. Werewolves and constellation monsters just seem to be taking the wackiness up to a degree that is not in line with the other Contra games I've played so far. I don't know why I'm doing so badly against this boss. I thought that this was actually one of the easier ones, and... boy, I'm turning out to be pretty painfully wrong. I wonder if the 6-button controller was a thing before this came out, and if this was intended to be played with the 6-button controller, because some of the control decisions are like really dubious. Either way, like, it seems to be a case of them, like, wanting you to be able to do everything you could do with the SNES controller. Despite the Genesis controller not being quite as rich in button options. But I wonder if the thought process was, it doesn't matter, just make it work on the 3 buttons, regardless of how clunky it is, or if their thought process was, it doesn't matter, there's a 6-button controller now. By the way, the slide in this game is accomplished by holding down and pressing jump. Ayo the Clown needs to take notes. They might have made it clunky on purpose as incentive to get the 6-button controller. I do frequently think that companies think that way, but I think that that might not actually have been a factor in this case. Unless Konami was marketing their own 6-button controllers for the Sega Genesis. Which they might have been. I know companies make their own versions of the light gun in this era a lot. So, actually, you might be right. But it doesn't feel like... While, like, some of the control options feel clunky, they do honestly feel like it's, like, the best that they could have done. Like, there's just no... I can't imagine any other workaround that would have been better than what we have for the controls with the on the 3-button controller. This control schema does just feel like the best of a bad situation. Oh, that was horrible. Oh, why? My mind just wasn't even working. That was a terrible decision. That sort of 3-dimensional C on the continue screen. I get why it's an impressive 3D effect. It's also just the worst Contra C to ever exist. The music on this stage is just some real, like, dance party music. That first part in particular. This part is really cool with the robot showing up in the distance like that. Demonstrating its power and then coming for you. I could imagine having nightmares about this robot as a kid, just because of his intimidating, dramatic entrance. I feel like they did a lot more with the theatrics of the bosses in this game than in the other Contras. Yeah, it's got a lot of spectacle to it. I like that. I like that about it. I don't like that I failed to jump there. I like how weird and bombastic this game seems to be. I was not trying to run and fire down diagonally. I was trying to duck. All of my moves are blunders. That robot who carries the giant bomb is maybe the best character in the game. For someone who exists so briefly, he sure has a lot of personality. I got lucky that didn't hit me. No, that was my last life. I should hunt down an instruction manual for this game and see if it says anything about a 6-button controller. And then if it does, maybe contemplate getting one. The background on this stage is just the craziest thing ever to look at. I don't feel like I fully appreciate it because I have to focus so much on staring at the boss, but just the way everything moves is so weird. The robot's lower torso kind of pulses, like it expands and contracts like the robot's breathing. Checkpoint. We're in the virtual world. Contra Hardcore is the same plot as Superman 64. Solve my constellation. I mean, you know, they're not that far off, right? You do find, you know, what is a constellation if not a connect the dots? And you do find those right alongside mazes on, like, children's menus in restaurants, right? So, they're really not all that different. I was never very good at actually doing it, but I always liked the idea of solving a connect the dots by connecting the dots in a way other than intended, but still coming out with like a recognizable drawing. I had to stand here and wait for those items to disappear because the items are worse than the enemies. Alright, that went really well. Victory. Oh, cows. I don't know if you've ever been here for this part of the game, but I have a feeling you're going to really like this character. It's the silliest looking dinosaur I've seen in a long time. He's got such a Goomba face. He looks exactly like the Mario movie Goombas. Long neck friend. I kind of love him. He looks like he knows something you don't know. He does. He does. He's got some juicy gossip he's not sharing. I hate when those Yiga soldiers appear at random so often. They can be really annoying, like when you've got somewhere you want to get to, and you're traveling on foot, and they keep popping up. They can be super annoying. Ah, what am I doing? I slid into him. No worries, Greg. All right. So we did manage to beat this boss the last time I did a Contra night. So hopefully I'll kind of remember how to fight him. It's a pretty good start. You picked up those items and I was in a panic after all the itemless gun smoke. It does things, right? It does things to your brain being itemless. It's hard to switch gears back to regular. Alright, well, I got through the first two phases pretty alright here. Thing is, Phase 3, I actually haven't figured out how to fight Phase 3 yet. We got through it the last time I tried this, but the thing is, like, I don't know how I got through. I just kind of tanked the hits. It's not really the way you want to defeat a boss. That's not very helpful for our, you know, our future attempts. But who knows? Maybe I'll learn something new. Maybe I won't. See, I don't know if I can slide through this. You can kind of slide through it. That boss is ugly. So as you can see, what took me a while to figure out was, like, when you hit the boss spins, so, like, you need to stop in time before it starts firing, or you create a disaster for yourself. Because if the boss, if you haven't spun the boss, it can only fire, you know, wherever it's facing. Some cold chills. I'm glad I got to see the dino friend, Cow says, but it's time for me to be heading off to bed. Best of luck. Thank you, Cows. I'm glad you got to be here for it as well. Thank you for your company tonight. I hope that you sleep well, my friend. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. No! I've solved how to fight the boss. I'm just gonna have to slide back and forth a whole lot. Remember in Zelda 2, the enemies in the desert that look kind of like this? They're like big plants. That's what I want to see in Breath of the Wild 2. I want to bring back that enemy. Everyone else wants to see like Dark Nut and Skulltula. I want to see the tall plant thing from Zelda 2. Hey, thank you for the stretch break, Circuit. If you don't mind, I'm going to do that at the end of this level, whether it be success or game over. Probably game over. But if you wouldn't mind waiting just a moment, I'd be happy to get to that. I want to see the axe wielders in Death Mountain. Or how about that guy who throws all the, like, how about the guy who throws the, like, I don't know, hatchets or whatever he throws? We might be talking about the same guy. I'm talking about the guy who's in the dungeons. He's like a red guy, and he throws these things that look like drumsticks. You're talking about the guy who runs at you swinging the axe in Zelda 2. You know what? That's a good choice. The Zelda 2 Fire Bros, yeah. The things that he throws look kind of like meat to me. Mace throwers. They should just bring back all the Zelda 2 enemies. The flying eyeballs and the invisible ghosts. That's what we need. We don't need a Breath of the Wild 2. We need a Zelda 2 remake. What made me jump? You know, people would be angry if that happened. Everyone except me. let's go even further and let's make the Link. Let's base his personality off of the old cartoon. They walk around saying, "Excuse me" to everybody. I don't think it's the idea of the remake. It's so much, Greg, it's the idea of the way I said that is that they should make that instead of Breath of the Wild 2. Zelda 2 remake in the Breath of the Wild engine, but with the CDI Zelda cutscenes. Welcome to the stream, Tristan. That's brilliant. I hope you're having a wonderful night. I'm having a wonderful night just imagining the perfect Zelda game, which you have described. People do not like that game very much. That's true. A lot of people don't like Zelda 2. I love Zelda 2. I like Zelda 2 better than Zelda 1. I wouldn't say it's a better game than Zelda 1, but I would say I like it better. I like Zelda 2 as well. Yeah, it's a really cool game. I wish Nintendo would put the CDI Zelda games. I wish they would put them on the Switch. I'm sure that they have all the rights to them. I'm sure they bought back whatever permissions they gave away to so they could seal them in a vault where no one would ever think about them again. Oh no, I looked away at the wrong time. I was thinking about here where the edge of the screen will slide you along. I disagree. That laser was incorrect. Everything is I'm crazy is like for liking that game as much as I do always have since it came out all those years ago. I don't even know what that Konami game is. In some reality, Zelda 2 is the popular one, and Getsu Fuma Den was Konami's star IP instead of Castlevania. I don't know if I could live in that. I don't know if I could live in that world, because I don't know that other game. I love Castlevania. I didn't stretch yet, Circuit. Thank you for the reminder. We hit the game over. We definitely need to do that. Let's take a moment and stretch, all my friends. It's neat. Zelda 2, but Samurai Has first-person segments. It's a Famicom game? Ooh. Yeah, that's Isaac. My skeletal friend over here, that's Isaac. He frequently hangs out with me. He's a big fan of the stream. And he's got the best seats in the house. All right, boy. I don't know what I did, but I've got some muscle soreness, so stretching is it was a little bit difficult to pull off there, but now I'm feeling very good. Getsu Fumaden. I agree, Zelda 2 Remake over Tears of the Kingdom would greatly anger many fans. You're right there. As for the ZDI Zelda games, I think Nintendo still tries to ignore they even exist. Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. I just wish they didn't. Never played the CDI games myself, but probably should. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've never actually played them myself. I kind of think when I do, I kind of think I'll actually really like them from what I've seen. Heard the remasters remedy the flawed controls of the original games. I wish I could, I wish I could play them on my Wii. That's the way I would like to do it. If I had a CDI emulator that worked on the Wii. That's probably one emulator doesn't get many downloads. Yeah, I've looked into it before too, but I've never succeeded in getting one functional. Like on the PC, not on the Wii. I don't think one would exist for the Wii, but and that would just be my preference because I could play it on my CRT. You know, my real preference would just be to have all the dollars and just go ahead and buy a CDI. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Also belatedly, I don't recall if I ever said hi before, but I've been lurking for quite a while for the comfy late night stuff. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate the lurk, and the comfy vibe is what I try to go for. I do succumb to the stress of the games I play sometimes, but we try to keep things mostly chill. Probably the smart thing to do there is to slide to get past those bombs, but I'm so in the habit of jumping that I don't know if I can. That's the trouble, is like, even when I have a good idea, if I've practiced a bad idea for long enough, I can just never make myself change. At one point, I had this goal. I was hoping that I would beat all of the. I was hoping that I would beat all of the retro Contra games before April. It's looking very unlikely that I'm gonna meet that goal. I've been having a hard time with this one, and I still have 5 left, I think. 6. I got 1 on Game Boy, 1 on PlayStation, 2 on PS2, that's 4. And 1 on the Wii. Yeah, there's no way. I think that was 5. 1, 1, 2, 1 is 5. 5. Punch is really effective against these guns. And I lost it. I shouldn't have said anything. There's our first death. We were doing really well. I think that's the first death this time. I couldn't slide fast enough. No, I killed him off screen, so... Oh, when you kill that boss, he drops a power-up. But because I killed him off screen, the power-up landed somewhere off screen, so I could never get it. What a shame. What a shame. This has devolved from an amazing run to every other run. No, why is that? Why is it the game like this? So my problem there was I was trying to advance the dialogue. And, instead my character was firing and fired a bomb while the dialogue was on the screen. This game's a little bit of a mess. Wouldn't be such a problem if I weren't also such a mess myself, though. Uh-oh, this is potentially very bad. All right. Not a great start to a level, this. I'm not really crazy about that. Welcome in, Wiley? If that's not how you like your name pronounced, you're welcome to correct me. Japanese version of this game has 3 armor before you lose 1 HP. That doesn't sound very Contra to me, though, right? To have more than 1 hit, I wouldn't know what to do. It's right on. I actually did play the Contra Adventure before playing this one, and you have a proper health bar in that game. So I can't say that I haven't experienced a precedent for multiple hits in a Contra game. So there has been one, but I don't know. It just seems to me like a series where you're supposed to be always 1 hit away from the grave. Have you done Contra Force? That one's a hoot. I have not done that one yet. I'm not looking forward to it. We will do it. I mean, it's not a Contra game, so I like having that excuse, but I can really only lean into that for so long, right? Take care, Frownie. See you tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Good night, Angelus. Thank you again for the raid. Be well, my friend. We'll see you again. Thank you for the follow, Wiley. Very kind of you. This one and Contra 3 on the SNES are my favorites. So far, of the games I've played in the series, Super C on the NES is my favorite. Probably with the original Contra being in 2nd place. This one, I'm still working my way through for the first time. I've yet to see the credits, so it's technically a first playthrough. It's been a long first playthrough. But that's alright. You know, I'm used to the long journey to beating a difficult game. That's kind of what I do. Contra 3 is alright. I didn't immediately like it very much, but it has grown on me a lot. I've played through it a handful of times now. The hard mode is just impossible, though. I can't believe how difficult the hard mode in Contra 3 is on the SNES. It's devastating. Absolutely devastating. So I've got to beat it on hard mode at some point still. But I don't know when I'm ever going to be good enough to pull that off. I mean, when we say first try, this isn't my first night playing it. It's hard for me to explain it. I've never made it to the credits, so technically it's a first playthrough. But I've been playing this for a couple weeks, so like, believe me, when I get to an area that I haven't played through yet, it's gonna look really horrible. I'm a slow learner. You need high reactions to beat it. Yeah, I don't know if my reactions are high enough for that one. Yeah, I don't want to mislead people. It's a weird rebrand. Contra, so the original Contra I played for the first time August before last. It's not a game that I ever played as a kid. I just never came across it. I didn't know anyone who had it. So I never tried it out for myself, but I played it August before last and pretty much instantly fell in love with Contra on the NES. Boy, I really liked that game. And then I decided, I had this idea, because I played through it and I liked it. I played through Super C and I liked that. And I was like, I want to get really good at these games. And so I played a lot of Contra and a lot of Super C. And I eventually did a couple deathless runs through each of them. Sometimes I do challenges on the stream, on the About page, if you want to see what we've done. They're all listed on the About page, the challenge runs that we pulled off. But we've done a couple for NES, Contra, and Super C. And I did one for Operation C on the Game Boy. And then at the Super NES is where it has become really rough. And I'd still like to be good enough at them to do some of the similar like deathless runs and stuff. But it's going to be a long journey. It's going to be a long journey with each of those games. So I'm kind of back into the mode of getting a first clear. Just getting a first clear through each game in the series. And then looping back around for some improvement later on. I think the best Contras are on the retro. I don't hear a lot of good stuff about the. But it seems that the newer the Contra game is, the less good things I hear about it. But I'd still like to try them all out. I had this idea. I wanted to try and beat all of the retro Contra games before April. I think I'm gonna do a little Contra marathon on the stream in April. It's probably not gonna include as many games as I would like it to this year, but I still think we'll do it anyway. But Since I noticed that the Contra guys are named after William Shakespeare, I'm going to do a little Contra marathon on William Shakespeare's birthday in April. That's the idea. I thought that was a really good dumb idea. Newer games lean way into the goofy humor and absurdity. I mean, this game is pretty absurd, but I kind of like it. The 3D Contras are not enjoyable. So the only one I've played is the Contra Adventure, and I didn't hate it. It's not a terrible 3D interpretation of Contra. It's not great. There are parts of it that are pretty cool, but there are also parts of it that are agony. This boss is definitely a part of the game I have not gotten very good at yet. Just punched myself in the face with him. I've learned a little bit about him though. I figured out the importance of the slide, and I'm getting better. Maybe. Please don't give me any advice or hints. I really don't want people to teach me how to do things and help me out with the games I play. Just a heads up there. This stream has a very strict blind policy. Yeah, that command that Jay pulled up, I would recommend please taking a look at that. We're all about the long journey. Yeah, no worries, no worries. I definitely appreciate that people want to help me out. It's just I want to do something different with my stream. Keep them away. You scared me. he's gonna put that laser right in my face. I got really lucky last time with the laser, like, bouncing over me. No! I have beaten this boss before, one time. Oh, I forgot about this. Really? There were more of them? That's more like it. The problem was I feel like I only managed to beat him by getting pretty lucky. I kind of just sort of tanked damage and let that carry me through. Nice. Felt like I was taking a risk there. And hoping that phase 1 would end before he had a chance to fire again. I love it. I love when the laser is, like, lines up so that I can just sit there and wail on this guy. Ugh. I really just kind of feel like this might be the weapon I actually want to use. No, I don't want to be on this side. This guy's got way too much health. No! Well, we made it through. I thought for sure I had damaged him so much. I thought for sure I damaged him enough that he would die before he could turn all the way around and look at me again. Alright. This is the end for you, so I've only been here once. A trap. I have read this dialogue, though, before, so I've kind of pressed through it. What did we say before? Fight to the end. For all the branching paths, the way I've been handling them is to just pick the same thing every time, because I want to leave other parts of the game unknown during my first journey to the credits, so that I have more to explore on replays. I definitely want to go through and see everything, but I want to be careful not to see too much at once. I want to make sure there's a lot of, like, mystery and things to discover left for me. No. I think that's as far as I've seen. I think that second monster that he created, I think that was the thing that, I think that's the furthest I've seen. Alright, I see. I see how this works now. I don't use a emulator. I'm playing on a real Genesis. Almost everything I do is on old hardware. I'm kind of lucky. I got into retro collecting really early on, like in the 90s, when it used to be cheap. So I've got a pretty nice collection of old hardware. So I like to use it as much as I can. Oh my goodness. All right, we saw something new. I got a little bit better at that one boss, and we saw something new, so I'm feeling good about that run. We'll make another one. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against emulation either. I think it's fantastic, because game preservation is a nightmare. So like we need ways to experience like these old games. But You know, if I'm lucky enough to have a lot of this stuff, then I'm gonna prioritize using it. And also, I really like the feel of it. I like the old controllers. I like the old TV. I am looking into getting some flash cards for some of my consoles, though, to help expand my library a little bit. Still have some SNES console cartridges, but the console is damaged. I had a problem with my SNES. I don't know if it's the same one you had. My problem with my Super NES is that the port on the back where the power plug plugs into the SNES is really fragile. And I actually broke it once and replaced it, but it's still fragile. I do hope you'll be able to get yours repaired or replaced, though. I've mostly been into Nintendo stuff myself. Those were the consoles that I had growing up, were pretty much all Nintendo consoles. So that's where like my most significant collections are. But I've got you know, I've got a pretty nice collection of Genesis games and Atari 2600 games. In addition to the Nintendo stuff. The thing about the Genesis is I started collecting... I think I started collecting Genesis games in 2006? Oh no, I'm doing terrible. This boss isn't even hard. Wake up, Frownie, pay attention. I started collecting Genesis games in 2006, and I don't think I played a single Genesis game until 2021. I spent 15 years buying Genesis games and not playing them. I'm glad I'm finally making up for that too, because some of the games that I've enjoyed on the Genesis have been fantastic. Castlevania Bloodlines I really love, and Alien 3 I really love. Alien 3 is a weird one though, because I actually kind of hated it at first, but the after I played it for a while, really after I came back to it for like a second night. First night I played it, I wasn't crazy about it, but I stuck with it a little bit and gave it another shot, and the game opened up for me, and now I just really like it. What motivated me to buy even when you weren't playing? So yeah, in the sometime in the late 90s, I started, like, I got during the time of the Nintendo 64, like when that was like still new, I got the interest in buying NES games to build up an NES collection. I'd had an NES when I was a kid. We had one, and then my parents got rid of our NES and all of our games when we got the Super Nintendo. And then I got the Nintendo 64, and I don't know, after, at some point while that was still the newest thing, I was like, you know what, I'd really like to have an NES again. I'd like to have all three of them. And so I bought an NES for my friend, one of my classmates. I gave him $20 for his NES and like 5 or 6 games, and then just started buying like whatever games I could come across, which wasn't a whole lot at first. I was just buying just weird random things. Like I got some of the first things I got were Legacy of the Wizard and Castle Quest and Predator. I don't know, just random titles. But anyways, and so I started building up my library of NES games, and then was just like, well, why don't I, you know, pick up more Super Nintendo games while I'm at it, and you know, and then more N64 games. And at some point, I found a Genesis at a thrift store, like a Goodwill or something like that, and was like, yeah, I could, you know, I could collect Genesis games too, and so I just started buying them. But the thing was, I started buying them, like I started collecting games in the late 90s, and then in the mid aughts is when I went to college. And when I went to college, I had stopped playing games, except for like a handful of, like, I brought my Super Nintendo to college with me and a couple Super Nintendo games, and that was really all I played. But I kept buying games for all the consoles, and even though I kind of stopped playing games for a long time, I never stopped buying them. And it was when I had the opportunity to start streaming that I was like, hey, I've got this huge collection of games, I can finally play it. And, you know, like, I didn't, and it wasn't like I played nothing, you know, because, like, I did, like, you know, play a few games here and there. I got into Mario Kart on the Wii for a while. I was into some of the Call of Duty games for a while. But it was very, very minimal, very surface level. I was playing basically mostly Super Nintendo for... And a lot of the same old Super Nintendo games. I would just replay a lot of my favorites and not really play a lot of newer games. Welcome to the stream, Penny Pocket. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the follow. I hope you're having a wonderful time tonight. Or today. Whatever time it is for you, depending on which direction your part of the world currently faces. What game is this? This is Contra Hardcore on the Sega Genesis. I've been playing this one for a while. I'm a big fan of the NES Contra games, and so I'm trying to just kind of slowly work my way through all the other games in the series. And I'm up to this one now. I've been playing it for a couple weeks. I haven't beat it yet, so I'm still calling this my first playthrough because I've never made it to the credits. Not yet, anyway. But it's a fun game. I don't love everything about it. I love some things about it. I really like the style of it. I like it's weird and it's over the top, and I really like all that. I like the look of the game. I love the music. Some of the controls are really annoying to me, so I'm not crazy about the way it feels to play sometimes. I don't like the way the camera works on the run and gun stages either. It's too centered, but it's still really good. It's still really good. It's just not, it's not perfect for me, but it's really good. So don't, you know, sorry if I sound like I'm being too negative, but I am liking it. I'm trying to learn it, going through it slow. Looks cool. Last retro game I played was Metal Slug. I've heard those are good. People have told me that they think I'll like those. Haven't gotten it around to any of myself yet, but perhaps one day I will. I actually have a bunch of them on the Switch. I scooped up a lot of them on the Switch, but I haven't played any of them yet. Oh, but yeah, I guess so. I guess the shorter summarization for that really long answer to your question that I started to give is I really like, for the Genesis, I started collecting Genesis games because I was able to come across a console for pretty cheap, and then it was just like I never really lost my interest in games. I just sort of lost time and opportunity to play them. And kept, you know, building the collection, mostly because, like, you know, like going to thrift stores and yard sales, and it was a lot of it just had to do with opportunity. It used to be real easy to build a retro game collection because nobody, like, cared about the stuff or thought it was valuable. Extremely extreme. Metal Slug is hard. That's all right. I like hard games. Right now, the things that are currently like on my to-do list, the things I've been playing the most on the stream lately, are Dark Souls, Battletoads, and Contra. So I definitely like hard games. Oh my goodness. We were so close to a checkpoint. Battletoads is fun. Yeah, I've been enjoying Battletoads. It's like I've been doing it like this, you know, where I'm trying to beat it for the first time, but like I do it the old-fashioned way, so it's taken me a long time to get good enough at all of the game to make it through. So I'm pretty good at the first 10 stages of Battletoads now, because I've been playing it for a while. And then stage 11 is just really hard for me. This is inexcusable. I know better than to let this guy hit me like this. I guess I don't. I guess I don't know better. There we go. They put this one at a really inconvenient spot. All right. As much as I love your streams, I gotta get some sleep for work this afternoon. See you next time, Greg says. Thank you, Greg. It's very kind of you to say. I certainly appreciate you, my friend. I hope you sleep well. Work goes very smoothly for you tomorrow. So, like I said, I was always a Nintendo guy growing up, and that's, you know, that's definitely the case. Nintendo games weren't actually the very first video games I played. The very first video games I played were Commodore 64 games. My dad had a Commodore 64, and we had, like, Ghostbusters and Donkey Kong and a handful of games on there. Dino Eggs, that's a really good one. Those were the first video games I played, so I have a love of the Commodore 64, and sometimes we play Commodore games on the stream, and I found there's actually a version of the original Contra on the Commodore 64. So, you know, since I love Contra and I love the Commodore 64, we played Contra on the Commodore 64, and it is nightmarish. It is horrific. Contra on the C64 is a monstrosity of jank. The worst thing about it, though, is like the Commodore 64 is like the controls like the Atari, where like if you have a joystick, like it has a stick and it has one button, and so the stick is your character movement and the button is the fire button. So to jump, you have to use the space bar on the keyboard. You have to use the joystick and the keyboard at the same time. It is so difficult. I didn't get very far, as you might imagine. I did not beat Contra on the Commodore 64. I didn't make it very far at all. I even tried putting the keyboard on the floor and tapping it with my foot when I needed to jump. I thought that would be a good idea since my hands were occupied. But no dice. I couldn't. I'm not coordinated enough to pull it off. I could never be a drummer because I wouldn't be able to work the kick drum in rhythm with everything else. I really didn't want to lose that weapon. Things are looking a little bleak. My chances of success are looking a little bleak. Hey, we got this weapon back. That's nice. I knew there was one available at the beginning of this stage, but picking it up instead of the other one that drops there was not guaranteed. I mean, picking them up in the right order so it would switch to it for me. Ooh, like right here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna let that other weapon disappear. This dinosaur is the best character in the game. I didn't know he was gonna body slam me. Oh, that was real bad. I'm never gonna make it through all these guys now. This was, this whole credit was wasted because of because I was trying to pick up both weapons. This is very bleak. I think that's a sign, my friends, that it's time for me to wrap things up. I kind of fell apart there all of a sudden. We'll try this again. Contra Hardcore will be on the schedule again, probably next week though. I don't expect I'm gonna have room for it tomorrow or Friday. But maybe you know, maybe on Monday next week we'll be able to pick it up again. Can't say for sure, but it'll be on the schedule in the Discord. You'll be able to know there. Thank you for being here tonight, though, my friends. I certainly appreciate your company. It's been very good of you to come along on the adventures that we've had tonight. Gunsmoke was a brutal struggle. It was so incredibly rough. Oh no, this hasn't been on. Oh, that's terrible. My tablet is dead, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do a raid. So we'll just say goodnight to one another, my friends, and head out. I hate wrapping up without a raid, but I use my tablet to follow the streams. And I had it plugged in, but I didn't have the thing turned on, so it didn't charge. So we're just going to say goodnight. I should be back tomorrow night. You can look for me around 11 p.m. Central Time. We're going to play AO the Clown. We've been working on that for a while. It's a platformer on the Switch. It is pretty good. Not great, but it's good. And Dark Souls. Found a new boss in Dark Souls last night. Gonna try and conquer him tomorrow night. So, we might actually be coming up to the end of Dark Souls, too. This could be the last boss. So, depending on how difficult he is. You know, it probably won't happen tomorrow night. That's probably wishful thinking. But within the next couple sessions, I think that game might be coming to an end. But AO and Dark Souls tomorrow night. Friday is to be determined. Not 100% sure what I want to do. Probably some kind of Mario game for part of the stream. And I've also been kind of feeling like playing, I don't know, maybe Bushido Blade or something on the Commodore 64. We'll see. I'm going to leave Friday a question mark. But hopefully I'll get to see you for some of that. If not, then for something else real soon. But be well, my friends. Thank you one last time for being here. I'm all out of stream for you for tonight. So it's time to head out. Everybody, let's go on an adventure.